Welcome to Booking the Territory, a pro wrestling podcast hosted by Mike Mills and Doc Turner. This podcast is all about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And now, here's your host, Mike Mills.
All right, Booking the Territory fans, I've been trying to work on this for a long time now, as long as the podcast has been up at this point. So I have the one, the only, on the phone tonight from Hoodslam, Drugz Bunny. Drugz, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Oh, man, nothing much, man. I'm good, dude. I'm glad I was able to get you on. That's for damn sure. After I heard about what Hoodslam had going on, I was like, I got to get this dude on, man. I love the gimmick. I just love it.
Thank you.
So, hey, just before we even get started into the whole Hoodslam thing, I gotta ask you a question. How long you been working?
I've been a professional wrestler since 2011, February 2011. I started training in 2008. I trained at All Pro Wrestling under Roland Alexander in Hayward, California. Rest in peace, Roland. It was one of the best schools in the country, and it was right in my backyard. So that was the first place I called home.
Okay, all right. So you said you really got started around 2011. I guess you started kind of working some matches and whatnot out in California.
Yeah, and that's when I made my pro debut and started working around just by word of mouth. Some friends, my trainers got me some early bookings, and then about, I want to say maybe a year in, Hoodslam came around, and I attended one of their shows. I was still really, really new, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And it was really way before it blew up. It was still at the Victory Warehouse, a really small venue where we run a training facility now. But I went to a show there, and I knew I had to be a part of it. So I kept asking and asking over and over until they found something for me, and the rest is history, I guess.
That's usually how it works, man. You hang around and, try to get the spot, and you're hanging around, man. Eventually somebody doesn't show up or something like that happens, and before you know it, you got an end to something. So, yeah, I've been there. I kind of know how that works.
Yeah.
But,
what's up?
So I gotta ask, because I think I messaged you the story. So I'm sitting at work one day, and to pass the time, I listen to podcasts sometimes. So I'm listening to a podcast. It's the weekend after WrestleMania weekend, and I got the podcast rolling. I got on MLW Radio, which I don't know if you've ever heard of MLW Radio, but I got it on. It's downloaded. It's playing, and I don't remember who asked, but MVP was on, and they said, hey, man, so how was WrestleMania weekend? And don't quote me for verbatim on this because I'm not really sure, but they said, how was WrestleMania weekend? And MVP says, man, I got to be honest, the freaking best time I had, most entertaining time I had all weekend was at this company called Hoodslam. And they were like, Hoodslam, all right, tell us about it. He was like, dude, if you'd have seen some of the stuff I saw, he's like, they got a dude named Drugz Bunny. Drugz comes out, got the rabbit ears, got a thing over his face, kind of on his nose, and doing his gimmick, and he's got a pile of, powder, assuming we're talking about some illegal substance. He's powdering up his nose, throwing it up in the air. He's like, man, I popped. I couldn't get enough. He's like, it's the craziest thing I ever seen. And he talked about a couple other guys, too, so I don't want to shortchange anybody that works for y'all. But, man, when he said that, me and my buddy who does his show with me, he's never been in the business, but he's a big fan. Mm-hmm. He was like, he heard about it because he listens to the same show. And we were like, dude, we got to go home and YouTube this. Man, I came home that night. I YouTubed it. I never laughed so goddamn hard in my whole life. Because I was like, now I'll tell you, dude, I honest to God, that when I first saw it, I didn't see you work. I just saw the entrance. But so So I was like, damn, you know, I'm just sitting there laughing my ass off, try to show it to my wife. She's like, man, this is crazy. Why? My wife is nowhere near a wrestling fan. She thinks it's stupid, but she's like, what the hell are they doing? So anyway, I had to tell you that because that's how I heard about you and Hoodslam. And since then, just so you know, I have watched some Hoodslam stuff on YouTube. And not only do y'all have great gimmicks or characters, but the work is really solid as well. Me and Manimal talked about that when he was on the podcast. So he put you over big time, as I tweeted to you. But it was just real entertaining. So I'll let you at this point, now that I've rattled off for 5 minutes, talk about Hoodslam and how Drugz Bunny came to be, because, like I said, I got listeners, most of my listeners right now in Texas, you know, the South, East Coast. I don't think I have many listeners on the West Coast. So the West Coast listeners, after you're on, they'll already know what this is, but I got a lot of listeners that haven't heard of Hoodslam. So go ahead and tell us about Hoodslam and Drugz Bunny, the character.
All right. Well, we can start from the beginning. Hoodslam, we like to call it the accidental phenomenon because we got popular completely by mistake. We were really doing this for us. The wrestlers just wanted to have fun and, you know, let loose and have kind of a party with a wrestling ring in it. And it was just by word of mouth. We told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and so on and so on. They went from free shows to us charging a little bit ahead. And then we ended up getting a bigger venue. And after we went to the bigger venue, we were drawing 300, and then 350, and then 4, and then 5, and then we were selling out at like 1,100 people after a couple of years, and it really, really blew up. There was a lot of press, like a little weekly publication. I was on the cover of the SF Weekly, the San Francisco Weekly. That was everywhere, all over the Bay Area. We've been covered by Al Jazeera and the New York Times and the LA Times. It just really, you know, kind of happened out of nowhere. And what's really good about Hoodslam is the locker room is a family, you know, and it's finally a comfortable place for a wrestler to sit down and know that everyone's looking out for each other and not just for themselves. You know, sometimes you go into a foreign locker room and you don't know really what's going on. You don't know anyone, but we all know each other. You know, we're family. We have each other's backs. You know, through thick and thin. Hoodslam is where I call home, and when they gave me a call and told me I was going to be Drugz Bunny, I'm not going to lie, I laughed. They're like, hey, man, you're going to be Drugz Bunny. I remember it. It was the Stoner Brothers pulled me aside after a show, not a Hoodslam show, a different show. It was called Action Coach Empire. They pulled me to the side, and they're like, oh, you haven't heard? You're going to be Drugz Bunny. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I didn't know, you know, if I was going to be a stoner hippie or what exactly that meant. I mean, obviously I knew I was going to be a rabbit, but
right.
When then, you know, they kind of went in and they're like, you're like a 1920s gangster, you know, but you're on drugs and you're a rabbit because Drugz Bunny just rolls off the tongue. It sounds nice. I'm like, okay, so I'll roll with it. We came out, and I was in a stable called the James Gang with James C. and Stony, Montana. And we were, I debuted as a heel. We were a heel stable in the beginning.
Right.
And it just kept growing and growing. And at first, I thought I should be a well-rounded drug addict. So I actually walked out there with, like, my arm tied off and a joint in my mouth and the powder. But yeah, I tried, you know, I tried to incorporate as many things as I could, but you know, like the latex on my arm fell off in the mask.
Yeah.
Obviously I had to put the joint out, and the only thing that really stuck was the powder, and I would get it like on my opponents, and when I would kick them or punch them, a big cloud would come off, and I'd go to the back and they'd say, dude, it was so cool. When as soon as we took a bump, a bunch of powder rose from the ring, and I was like, okay, all right. So I stuck with the powder for, forever, I guess, until right now. I still work with just the powder. It went from just drugs to just cocaine, I suppose. And the entrance is probably one of the most important parts of who I am. It sets the tone for the entire match. and it still kind of blows my mind. I've seen people bring signs for Drugz Funny. I've seen people dress up as Drugz Funny. So, I mean, it's been a pretty crazy, wild ride. And, you know, especially when you have really good homies like Manimal, and, you know, you got MVP who, you know, just came to our show without telling anyone. He was in town for WrestleMania weekend and wanted to check out some things. And when he showed up, he was just in the crowd. We didn't expect it at all. And everything, you know, all the rubs he's giving Hoodslam and all the kind words he's saying is completely on him, like from the bottom of his heart. So I always tell him how much I appreciate him every time I see him. And, yeah, he's a real homie, really digs the product. And, you know, Bull, we've had him at shows, and he's just a pleasure to be around. Real good dude, solid worker, and just all-around good guy. So the Hoodslam family, or the Hoodslamily, as we call it, you know, it's getting more and more extended as time passes.
Yeah, it's I was watching some stuff last Saturday night, man. I was up late at night and sitting there on YouTube. Everybody in the house was asleep, and I'm watching. I'm like, so I even pulled up some of the girls, like or the ladies. I pulled up like Brittany Wonder, and it's slipping my mind. Y'all got a few of them, but I'm even watching them, and I'm like, they're getting in. Oh, go ahead.
Missy Hayashit is the other one. She's part of Stoner University. And
yeah.
Sometimes we'll have Shelly Martinez as part of the family. She'll come down.
I can't remember. It was Brittany and somebody else, and these two girls were working their asses off. And I'm like, I mean, the crowd's into it. Like, holy crap. I brought them up because I'm like, I'm watching them, and then I watch another match with you. And, you know, I'm just thinking to myself, you know, I remember what Bull told me when we were talking. He's like, yeah, you know, it's like the accidental phenomenon. It kind of just happened. I'm like, man, that's usually when things go well. And you can see how it's like an accident you fall into, but it's really, really, it's entertaining to no end. Like I said, I told Bull this week, this is through text messages, like, man, I got to make a trip out there, dude. I just got to go to a show. Now, that's a long haul for me from where I live in Texas, but I like, man, I might have to make a trip out there and just go hang out, man, talk to some of the guys, because I've been out of the business as far as working indies for a while now. It's getting close to 10 years, and I don't really go to many shows, but I'm like, I told Bull, and like I told Manimal, I'm like, man, I might have to take a trip with you, dude. Come hang out, man. He's like, oh man, just jump in the car with me, ain't no big deal. Because it's so entertaining, dude. I mean, you know, I was somebody who I never went anywhere, you know, just so you know. I WWE, nothing like that. Strictly an indie guy. Started working in '96. Worked all the way through about '07. I kind of gave it up, but yeah, but I'm still a fan, you know. And when I see good stuff and I see good entertaining things, I'll certainly, I guess you can say, mark out for it. And when I saw Hoodslam, I was like, dude, this is so entertaining.
Yeah, man, and that's definitely another thing Hoodslam does. Again, something we didn't plan is people come to the shows, people become fans of Hoodslam and what we're doing without necessarily already having been a wrestling fan. Maybe they're not into WWE, maybe they never have been, but they're into another aspect of Hoodslam, and therefore they enjoy the wrestling as well, and it kind of, you know, it brings people back into it, especially the former fan. The fan was like, oh, I was into it back in the 80s, back in the 90s when it was cool, you know. There, this and that, and, you know, and then they come to Hoodslam and they're like, you know, I just had the time of my life. I'll be back every single time. You know, we sort of in the pro wrestling fandom. We're different. We're not going to be the next anybody. We're the first Hoodslam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what Manimal was saying. He's like, you know, one thing about the crowd there, he's like, they got a crowd there that's more than just, you know, it's not just wrestling fans. Don't get me wrong, there's wrestling fans there, but there's people who come for the entertainment portion of it, and it just so happens that it's wrestling as well. And I think that's pretty cool, because most indies, you know, or even most companies, not even just the indies, they're you know, built as a wrestling only product, I guess you'll say. Whereas from what I've seen on Hoodslam, it's wrestling. I'm not gonna knock the wrestling because it's real good, but there's also like a ton of entertainment that, man, I'll just sit there and just laugh. I'm like, this is freaking awesome, you know. So, I hear you when you say that. That's so true about it.
Yeah. I mean, we like we fancy ourselves kind of a variety show. A big part of it is professional wrestling, but I mean, we don't. I mean, at least I don't hate the term sports entertainment. You know, I think, you know, if we're gonna all look at each other, nod, and agree that it's a show, then we need to, you know, go balls to the wall with the show and do some entertaining things, and you know, just break the fourth wall. And that's why one of our monikers is "This is real," because I'm a rabbit, for God's sake. It's the farthest thing, but we're not insulting anyone's intelligence. You know what I mean? And I think that's why they appreciate it.
Yeah, and y'all been drawing some serious houses from what Manimal was telling me. It's packed when y'all have y'all shows, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the max capacity at the building is about 1,000 people, but as soon as someone, you know, some people start to trickle out, whether they're too drunk or they have to catch some sort of public transportation or something, because the show runs pretty late, so they got to catch the last train or the last bus or something. And
I got you.
Then there's still people in line waiting for people to leave so that they can be let in, and that's how, you know, we can, you know, our total draw is actually over max capacity. We do it from time to time, but I don't have exact numbers, but it's like 800 to 1,000 people.
Well, no. I mean, regardless, even if you don't have exact numbers, man, that's you know, even though y'all are Hoodslam and it's a little bit different, it's still considered an indie, and for an indie, that's a damn good crowd. I mean, I judge it by, you know, you got that many people in the audience for an indie, man. You're doing something right.
And they're passionate too. They're passionate. They get the joke. They play along, and they're really, you know, kind of reminds me of the original ECW fans, or maybe even the current NXT fans at Full Sail, where, you know, you get used to running a damn good product in the same venue, so the same people start turning out. Even though I meet people every single show that it's their first Hoodslam, and they swear they're coming back, and, you know, they do. We get first-timers every single show, but we also get a good number of diehards that don't miss a single one. And, you know, they were there since the beginning, just like the wrestlers. It's a beautiful thing.
I stopped. I didn't want to compare it to ECW, but I know what you mean when you say it's got that like feel, because at that point ECW was different to the wrestling business. And I think, like, when you look at Hoodslam, I don't know of anybody else doing the same thing, you know, that makes it so different. So I definitely understand what you mean when you say, you know, it's almost got that ECW like feel where it's different and it's not the same as what you see, whether it's TNA, WWE.
Fans were different.
Yeah.
Fans were different. You know, not any group of fans would catch Spike Dudley, you know. Other fans would have let him drop, but those fans were loyal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I know what you mean.
That's what I'm talking about. They're super down for Hoodslam, and we say FTF a lot, but we love them.
I was telling Bull, I like the motto where don't bring your effing kids.
Yeah, don't bring your effing kids, because at first it was all ages for a while, just because the venue was all ages, and what they would do is ID you at the door and give you like a wristband or something for alcohol. And then I don't know why, but we went up to 21 and over, and that didn't hinder anything. I think it kind of made it feel more exclusive, and we didn't skip a beat, you know. So. Yeah.
No, I man, it's amazing, dude. I'm telling you, dude.
It's all you know, say just about whatever we want on the microphone in different contexts, and so.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like you say, y'all label it as such, so it's not like you're, the people that's going there, they know what they expect. They're not gonna be offended by it, which is, hey man, it's all kind of fun. It's like an R-rated movie. I mean, it's entertainment. People that, because there's some like wrestling purists that I just remember, like, see, I don't know how old you are, but coming into the business in 1996 and early 1996, like I did, there were like I can tell you, I was able to work with guys like Gentleman Chris Adams and Tommy Rogers, and I met like a lot of like old school guys, and I'm not saying those names to say like they were against that whole hardcore style, but they were really old school. Like there was just their mentality on like things as far as even getting outside the ring. And I mean, hey, don't get me wrong, like it was I understood completely. I was young, and I firmly listened to the veterans back then. I mean, they were smart guys. They had been around forever. So, but I can, I say all that to say, like you look at Hoodslam, and you may have purists who go, oh, well, that's not really wrestling. Well, I mean, times change. I mean, things change, and if they're a trendsetter and something's new, like Manimal was saying, he was like, dude, I think in 15 years, who knows? That may be the future of it. I mean, we don't know that at this point, but man, you just never know, man. If it keeps growing, what can happen? What kind of much more visibility you get and whatnot. Now, y'all only run, I don't say only, but y'all run once a month, right? Out that building?
No, we're starting to do twice a month. And then we have what we call Stoner U Dojo shows, which are at the training facility. It's a student showcase. Stoner Brothers run a show.
Gotcha.
They run a school, and they showcase their students, and we bring fans in, and it's kind of like the old days, and it's a lot of fun. We get the kids to wrestle some workers that have been around a while, maybe, even some cats that don't really wrestle anywhere else. They just like to have fun. They'll do one of the dojo shows, things like that.
All right.
But the first Friday of every month in Oakland, that is like almost of the month. That's the one that's always running. That's the one where we can,
First Friday of every month, you said?
The first Friday of every month coming up this Friday on the 17th. The homage to Saturday morning cartoons. Sometimes we have themes to our shows, like Aid for the Ladies, or because one Drag Me to Hell, where a whole bunch of people dressed in drag. And it was, it's just a little different. But, people absolutely loved it. They had a great time. We have different teams, different wrestlers that are, names, I guess you can say. They're starting to catch on. And before we would, draw without them, and now we just love having them. Like people like Brian Kendrick and Paul London. Those guys are great. They love the product. They love to come through and have fun, and they're just one of the guys, they just party with us. They work a hell of a match, and it's a thing,
Yeah.
Really great, and yeah, we do, especially when we first started, but even to this day, we have like haters or wrestling purists, or at this point, sometimes it's just like jealous workers who wish they had got on board in the beginning, because now we have a full roster and really no room for anyone, so a lot of the guys in our own territory turn their nose up at the idea, but later on down the road, there's been several of them, that they've come around. And, there's no hard feelings. We're all a family in Northern California. We like to think of kind of an island for pro wrestling, because it's not like the East Coast where you're a 2-hour drive from a different state and a different promotion and different local TV and all that other stuff. California's a huge, huge state, and we've got a lot of really, really, really good talent here. And I guess the Hoodslam roster full of some guys that were good, but just weren't being used right by other people. So, and I was one of them. I wasn't really spending much as far as bookings, and I don't know. It might have been a gimmick thing. It might have been because I was really green, but as soon as Hoodslam took off, Hoodslam's my bread and butter, and I love it to death. I wish my character was a little more PC so I can do them everywhere, but unfortunately,
you can't really. You can't really pull that off at a kid's show.
Yeah, exactly. But I know, if anyone's listening out there and they don't care if I bring a big bag of cocaine to the ring and I throw it at your fans, I'm game to come through to any other, maybe 21 and up show, any cutting edge promotion across the country that thinks they can handle Drugz funny. I'll be there.
I hear you. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Yeah, you're right about that with being I guess not politically correct with the whole Drugz bunny gimmick. It's kind of hard to go elsewhere sometimes and to actually do that character. I know I was going to ask you that about California because, man, California's so damn big. I mean, Texas is big where I live, but California is freaking huge. And it was funny because years ago, this is back in the 90s, I had worked once in California, but it was in Southern California, nowhere near where y'all are. And I was like, I just looked it up on a map to see how far, like, L.A. was from Oakland. It's like, good God. It was like driving across two countries because it's so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd imagine. So there's really not much. There's not much. It's real spread out there, I would assume. So like, if there's y'all run in Oakland, I'm assuming, man, where's the next closest area that really does anything worth of note?
I mean, All Pro Wrestling still runs shows in Daly City. You have Gold Rush and Pacifica. I mean, I could actually name off a lot of promotions over the last few years. At least ever since I broke into the business in 2008, there's been so many new promotions sprouting up. Everyone wants to run a promotion. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. And, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun having enough room for the talent to spread out. But a personal problem I have with it is that, everyone wants to do their own thing. And with all those different promotions, you have all those different bookers and writers, and everyone's doing different things. Like, you could have a feud over here with the same guy you tag camps with over here, and you could be a face over here and a heel over here. And, it's hard for anyone to actually brand themselves as one specific person. I know a lot of people that have done that, that work as the same person everywhere. But, I mean...
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, you start having a million... Yeah, you start...
Like too many places to work now.
That happens everywhere. It's not just there. Yeah, that I find that happens everywhere lately. I mean, with the indies, it does. You got a lot of people start oversaturating it, or they'll see something get hot, and then they're like, oh, I got to capitalize on that too. So they go buy a ring, and who knows, they may put a half-assed product out there that's not worth a quarter. Yeah, that tends to happen on the indies. I mean, I'm pretty familiar with that as well.
Great.
Hey, so for the most part, you pretty much stick to what you got going on at Hoodslam then. You there?
Part.
Hey, did I lose you? You faded out.
Nope. Am I here? I'm still here.
Okay. Cool. I thought I lost you.
No, I'm right here. I mainly just do Hoodslam. There's a few other promotions here and there that I just put on some tights for and go out there and rock the house as best I can, make my opponent look like $1 million, go to the pay window and wait for the next Hoodslam, you know what I mean? But I really wish I could do more of my bookings elsewhere. Like, I'm really trying to incorporate the rabbit into a more PG thing because, you just a little tweak of the name and a different type of prop, and then we got some gold, we got something going. But I got to figure out what I'm going to replace all this gosh darn blow with,
Oh, man, let me tell you, one of the things I noticed when I was watching Hoodslam this weekend was I have never worked at on a card where you can't go on the floor. And not that I'm saying I'd go on the floor every time. It's just that I'm looking at these YouTube videos, and the fans are literally up against the ring apron. So Bull, yeah, Manimal and I were messaging. I was like, dude, how do you work like that? He's good. Man, it's so loud in there, they can't even hear you call spots.
Yeah, we don't whisper either, and they're loud, they're into it, and we definitely go to the floor. We dive all the time.
Oh, y'all do? Okay.
Fans. Yeah, they're just loyal fans, and they get out of the way. We have live commentary, which not a lot of shows have. We have live audible commentary for the crowd to hear. As Bros of Joe Brody's AJ Kirsch, he's one of the coolest dudes I know, and he's gold on the microphone, and if he sees a dive coming, he'll just, yell, get the F out of the way, here he comes, and they move. They get out of the way. Everyone's always fine. Probably.
Okay. No, that's cool. Do y'all have a boxing and wrestling commission there? Is it like
no, not in California.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I don't remember. It's been so long since I had worked
not
there.
In California, it wasn't. I didn't even know that those existed until I was a year or two into the business. I was like, wait a minute. If I want to wrestle on the East Coast, I have to pay someone money for no reason. It's a show. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You got states that have commissions. I mean, I know when I was working years ago, I mainly worked the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. I mean, it was in Georgia too, but that was the main area just because of the drive. I mean, it just it was closer. Anyway, back then, Louisiana still got one. Mississippi, I think, still has one. I'm not sure about. I don't think Alabama had one, but I can't remember. And I don't remember about Florida.
North Carolina, Virginia, all have them too.
Yeah, and some of them are crazy, man. The rules and regulations. I said it all the time. I was interviewing my buddy Luke Hawks last week, and he runs a promotion out of Louisiana that's really successful. I mean, they're drawing 1,100, 1,200 people, but we were talking about it. It's the commission makes it difficult on. Louisiana is one of the worst that I know of. Just the way they just basically they're robbing promotions and the wrestlers. It's pathetic. So that's why I asked that question about California. That's good that y'all don't have that because all they basically do is dip into your pockets after you do all the hard work.
Come on out, lace up your boots and get in the ring. I've never had to. Sometimes you sign some sort of waiver for the promotion, but it has nothing to do with, you don't have to ever pay anything or anything like that.
That's cool. So y'all got something, it's Friday, right?
Yeah, this Friday. It's the homage to Saturday morning cartoons, where a lot of our roster will be dressing up as their favorite cartoon character. But, whenever we do any type of cosplay, we never do it to the fullest. It's always we have the Butabi brothers, Anthony and Johnny Drinko. They're going to be the Rugrats. They're going to be Tommy Pickles and the other one, the red-haired one. And but it's going to be Johnny Plinko Drinko as Tommy, so he's still going to be an adult walking out there, probably with a bottle of liquor in a baby bottle. I don't know what he's going to do. One of my favorite things, though, is Mortal Kombat Scorpion. Scorpion comes out. He was the first one to do it when we were dressing up as cartoons. I think it was last year or the year before. He was Quailman from the show Drugz, but it wasn't the person who plays Scorpion. It was Scorpion playing Quailman. So it was all the Quailman outfit over the Scorpion outfit, and it was 100% gold. and that whole dress-up thing went on for another year. I think it's still going, actually.
No, I gotta like the different spins y'all do, man. It's like I said, it's different. It's entertaining. Hey, we're about 35 minutes into this thing at this point. So before we start to wrap up, two things. So I know Hoodslam is on Twitter at Hoodslam. I know you're on Twitter. You want to give your Twitter at?
Yeah, that is at Drugz Funny FTF. Drugz with a Z. Drugz Funny FTF on Instagram.
Nice.
Like my Facebook page too, and all that. And yeah.
Are you on now? You got a Drugz Bunny Facebook, or just your personal one?
I have a Drugz Funny fan page that
okay.
I post a lot of the flyers, just random one-liners, things like that. I'm not really good with social media, so sometimes I'll tweet something that I won't put on the Facebook, and vice versa. So you gotta follow everything if you want to stay in the know.
Yeah.
That's basically it, you know.
No, I do the same thing, man. I would like tweet from like the podcast Twitter and then my personal one, and then, but when it comes to my Facebook, man, a lot of times I'm just like forwarding or sharing the podcast shows on my personal one. I don't really post a lot of personal crap on my own Facebook. So yeah, I'm kind of the same way. They're not all uniform, you know. You got like bits and pieces here and there. So It is what it is, man. And but no, I wanted to make sure. So everybody listening, because I know I got these fans in the South and Texas and the East Coast that are listening at this point, because I see where the downloads are coming from. That's at Drugz Bunny with a Z, not an S. So DRUGZ BUNNY FTF. So that's at Drugz Bunny with a Z FTF. And you can follow him on Instagram and Twitter. And then he's got a Facebook page as well. And then also Hoodslam's got a Facebook page for Hoodslam as well. They got a hell of a following. I was looking at it over the weekend. I was like, damn. No, man. So hey, dude, that was it, man. I just wanted to wrap with you. Like I said, let me tell you, when MVP puts you over, then you must be over, because I've never met MVP. But I respect what he's done in the ring. I watch him all the time in TNA. I saw him in WWE, and I'm like, man, MVP's with this dude over. I got to get him on a podcast, dude. That's the first thing I told Manimal. I was like, I got to get him on a podcast, man. Can you make it happen? He's like, yeah, I can get him on the phone for you. I'm like, all right. Sure enough, a week and a half later, I'm talking to you.
Right on, man. Yeah, like I said, both Bull, MVP, a lot of other people, man, they're real homies, man. They're part of the Hoodslam family. And Bull, can't wait to see you again, bud.
Yeah. I'm telling you, he told me to hop in the car with him. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but he did tell me that. Hey, do me a favor. If you can help me spread the word about the show. Now, your show won't be up for another couple weeks, because I got 2 more coming up. I got one coming up Friday, another one the Friday after that. You may be the Friday after that. So as we're recording this, y'all may be into the next month getting ready for y'all monthly show once this one drops. So, hey, but if you can help me out in any way spreading the word on the show, like I said, I don't have a West Coast audience right now, so anything you can do would be helpful. I got I'm supposed to have the Stoner Brothers on. I gotta message them. I think we talked about next week, but I'm not sure. I gotta touch base with them again, because I did talk to them through Facebook last week.
Right on, yeah. You gotta get a lot of people on, man. There's people on the roster.
Oh yeah.
Knowledge, you know, you got the Stoner Brothers, you got Brittany Wonder, Super Covers, one of my closest friends. You know, he's a real great guy, and he knows everything about everything. I love that guy. So yeah, I'm sure they'd all love to sit down and talk too. So I'll definitely spread the word, get the list.
Tell them. I think Bull has hooked me up with Facebook with a bunch of the guys. I know he's hooked me up with the Stoner Brothers on there. I don't know. I don't think he's talked to Brittany yet. I don't think he's talked to Chupacabra yet. If he has, I'm just not sure about. But hey, look, I need content, so I'll get through everybody. Just give me some time, and we can definitely talk and help y'all promote it. I'm all for it, man. It's like I said, I don't think you've listened to any episodes yet, but what I do, half of the episode every time is just me talking to talent, whether it's indie talent from, the South, East Coast, wherever. And then the other half is me and a buddy of mine. We kind of do a review of what currently is going on, but we're starting to just get a lot of listener questions. So we really just address questions at this point. We're not really doing a ton of reviews like we were once doing when we first started. So, man, let them know, dude. Hook me up with them. I will be more than happy to talk to all of the talent out there, get them on the show, plug their Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams, and definitely we'll rap with them and get them on, man. I don't mind that at all. That's why I'm doing it, actually.
Right on, man. That sounds good to me.
Well, hey, man, before I hit the stop on the recorder, I'm gonna have you hang tight for a second after I stop it. But before I hit the stop on the recorder, man, you want to plug anything else? Say anything else to the fans out there that are listening, probably for the first time since you're the first California Hoodslam guy I got on this podcast this time.
Yeah, I want to let everyone know that if you're nowhere near Oakland and you want to get you some Hoodslam, we have a Hoodslam YouTube page for the low price of $1.99 per month. We have just about every show. We're uploading them as quick as we can. They're full shows. They're first Friday shows. It's the whole shebang. It's everything that you want. If you're not able to make it out to a live show, although no matter where you live now, I met a guy that flew out from Ireland, and he was at Hoodslam. So no excuses if you're in the U.S. to make it. But if you can't, so good. We have just about everything, and you can find your new favorite wrestler, and become part of the family.
And it's funny, Manimal, that episode hasn't aired yet, but Manimal did plug that as well. He said he talked about he was like, dude, it's only $2, just go do it. So yeah, YouTube. So where do they go to on YouTube? I guess Hoodslam's got its own page, so they could just search Hoodslam on YouTube.
Yeah, you search Hoodslam. There's a few, there's clips and matches and things that were put up that are up there for free, but they're really well edited. The full shows and the most current content. A lot of the free stuff is pretty old, but it can give you a good free little taste, little reminder that $2 isn't too much. To get all the brand new shows up there on YouTube. So
yeah, hey, and just from the free stuff I've seen on YouTube, I'm very entertained. I mean, it kept me entertained the other night for a while. So y'all check them out.
Right
go ahead.
At Hoodslam,
yeah.
#Hoodslam on Instagram, and you'll find a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Like I said, our fan base is out of control. They're super loyal. Shout out to the whole Hoodslam family. I'm probably going to be hearing on you guys on this show soon. And dude, just thank you. Thank you, Bull, and thank you for having me on, a plug, and just being another fan,